Okay, today we're going to be talking about energy flow in the ecosystem. So if I look at this is an ocean or lake. I have a man's on a fishing boat, some seabirds. So this would be at sea level or regular elevation. Now this is below water. So I have these creatures like the fish, the jellyfish, the whales, squid. How do they get their energy? Typically we would think that these guys eat these guys or that and such. But where does all that start? That's where we need to look at this. How is seaweed involved in this? How is the sun involved with this? So, we have producers or autotrophs, as we've learned about. These are organisms that make their own food without hunting. Okay, they're also known as autotrophs, plants. Um, Auto means self, troph means feed, so they are self-feeding. Some simple examples that you would know: grass, flowers, trees, and moths. Okay, but also seaweed would also be this. Consumers, or otherwise known as heterotrophs. These are animals that need to acquire or get their energy from either something that eats a plant or uh, they either need to get it from a plant directly or they need to get something from another animal. Okay, hetero means different and troph means feed. So example would be like insects, deer, or fish. Now, there are different types of consumers. Herbivores, so I like to think of like herbs that I might add when I'm cooking something to give it some flavor. These are organisms that eat plants. Okay, so an example would be like a mouse or mice. Carnivores, these are organisms that only eat meat. So if you can try to remember like carne asada tacos, that would mean meat in Spanish. So example would be like a snake. Now, if you're an organism like bears or pigs or humans, we can eat both plants and meat. So we are omnivores, meaning we can do both types. Then there's detrivores. These are organisms that eat dead or decaying matter. And decomposers. These are organisms that break down dead organisms. I usually kind of bunch these together, detrivores and decomposers. They basically eat the dead stuff. Now, energy flow. Now, this is kind of where we talked. All energy on Earth originates or starts on the sun. Okay. Then we need producers or autotrophs to convert that solar energy into glucose through photosynthesis. Remember, photosynthesis. Now, so the sun gives its energy, solar energy. The algae, which is a autotroph, converts that into glucose, makes it a usable form. The flagfish comes along and eats the algae. Okay, this is a herbivore. Then the largemouth bass is a carnivore, eats this organism. Okay, the largemouth bass is then further eaten by these organisms, okay, which are carnivores. So the energy transfer from here all the way over. When you see these arrows, that means the organism is transferring its energy to this one. And it is only one direction. It starts off with the sun and then goes. A food chain. So what we just looked at is known as a food chain. So this is a series of steps in which an organism obtains energy by eating or being eaten. Special note, food chains always start with a producer or autotroph. So the algae is a producer. The flagfish is a herbivore. And then we have the carnivores. And it's transferred through. A food web shows all the possible pathways of energy in a community. So it is multiple food chains put together. So the grass starts here, is consumed by the mouse, and then that is consumed by the hawk. Or the mouse here is consumed by the snake, and the snake is consumed by the hawk. They're kind of interconnected. Energy transfer and trophic levels. So each one of these is a trophic level or a step. Think of it as kind of like the food pyramid. As you move through the food chain, energy is lost. Only 10% moves up. So if I start off with 20,000 calories, By the time I move up multiple steps to this vulture or eagle, only 2 calories is there because 90% of that is lost as heat or energy. Only 10% moves up each step. We're going to go into more of this hopefully next week. And that is it. Have a great weekend.